Yeah, somebody hit the wrong button. They're kind of labeled very similarly up there, okay? We don't have a Jacob.
We don't. Hopefully, one day we can get ourselves a Jacob.
What up, world travelers and technical wizards? This is Judgmentalist, not your audio guy who's doing the
Coming in
job
hot.
as the audio guy. Coming in a little hot here for a big, sexy digital nomad. We are back for another week, still recapping quite a journey that the two of us have had over the past couple of weeks here, and the journey continues day in and day out. Let's get it with Big Sexy.
What up, everybody? Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever this is hitting your ear holes. We appreciate you traveling with us. Yours truly is here in Malaga, Spain, at a beautiful Airbnb overlooking the Andalusian coastline and the Mediterranean Sea. It's really cool. I can see it from my balcony, which is a
Ooh.
big hop, skip, and a jump from the first two nights in Malaga, where I could see a dirty rooftop from our window, out of a very small window in a very small room.
So
Uh,
you guys are you guys jumping around to different places? Like, how is this all set up?
yeah, so we when we hit Barcelona right off the cruise, we were in Barcelona for about 5 days. And then after that, we hopped on a train to come to Malaga. That is which turned out to be a lovely Italian air show.
Oh,
Um, yeah, it was a ordeal, a very serious and horrendous ordeal. Um, but we spent the time in the city center of Malaga, and then uh, got an Airbnb in Andalusia, which is another province in the province of Malaga, another little small city area. I'm not sure how they delineate the different areas of the city. Because Malaga is the city, and then there are different provinces in that city, is my understanding. Right. I guess comparatively in the States, it'd be like if Malaga was the county
okay.
and other cities are within that county. That's almost what it feels like. So right now we're in uh Banal Moderna. I think that's how you say that. Banal Medina. So like, somebody can look it up and check and fact check me on that.
I will tell you
Um
the extent of my Spanish or Spain geography knowledge came from taking 5 years of Spanish language, mostly in high school, and we learned major cities and where they are on the map. Which
yeah.
evidence from me asking you questions in past episodes has clearly I've forgotten all of this.
Right.
So a lot of good that did.
Yeah, Banal Medina in Malaga, Spain. Um so that's where we are currently staying at the Banal Beach apartment complex. It's very lovely. It's very lovely. It's a very weird built place. There are floors that seemingly go nowhere. There are hidden staircases that lead to random other
Oh, that's
apartments.
exciting. Well,
Um, yeah, there's an
in
elevator.
theory.
Right. There's an elevator bank that's kind of near our unit. That on our floor has three elevators. Um, and then on the zero floor, because that's a thing in Europe, apparently they start on zero as opposed to one, which is somewhat confusing. Um, the There's only one elevator, and it's the middle one. However, that middle one doesn't have its own button. So if you go into either one, if you're on the first floor and you can get to either one of the side elevators, they only go down to level one and up to the top floor, whatever. The middle elevator goes down to floor zero, and that's where you can exit into a garden there. There's a supermarket on property. I say supermarket. They call them supermarkets out here. They're really convenience stores.
Okay.
And there's hundreds of them within a 2 mile radius. I mean, that's not even a joke. It's amazing. If I'm at one supermarket, I could throw a very light rock and hit another supermarket. It
Interesting.
they're like it's and what they're calling a supermarket. It's like if you're familiar with Vegas, you know how there's a 7-Eleven on every corner.
Right.
Imagine if there's a 7-Eleven every two stores. Like store, restaurant, restaurant, store, restaurant, restaurant, store. And in some cases, especially on the beach, you go store, store, restaurant, bar, store, restaurant, store, bar, store, restaurant, specialty restaurant, store, specialty bar, specialty store, store, all along the entire beach. It is if you can't find a bottle of water in one store, uh walk to 20 feet and you can
Now,
find a
do you
bottle
think
in
that
one
this
store.
is normal throughout the country, or is this because you're like in a beach
In a
area,
beach town,
or
I no, we were in Barcelona, and there were quite a bit supermarkets in that area. Down every street there was a little tiny, and again I keep saying supermarket because that's what they're called out here, supermercados, but they are really just convenience stores. I mean, that's all they really are. There are some bigger actual supermarkets. There's one up the street from us that I'll probably go to today to check out and buy some actual groceries so we can do some more cooking and stuff. Now that we're in Airbnb versus the hotel, we're trying to steer away from all the eating out and then just
oh yeah,
but eating out so inexpensive here. We got a delicious steak and potatoes dinner, or steak and fries and garlic bread. It was delicious, but it was like €22. 24 euro total. And for a nice size, like a 15-ounce ribeye, it was
ooh,
very delicious. It was really good. And so we keep running into that. We're like, oh, we can get groceries, or we can just go to this really restaurant that's kind of relatively inexpensive and has delicious food. So we're balancing that out. But it looks like we're going to be staying in Malaga for a bit longer than anticipated. It seems that travel between countries, Spain and Portugal specifically, is a little more difficult than we anticipated, especially with Fox. And Malaga is fucking gorgeous. So it's like, why not hang out here and stay
you
in
know what they say when in Malaga.
when in Malaga, be comfortable and near the ocean and relaxed and enjoy, your time here. So absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, loving it here. Having a good time. But as I mentioned before, getting here was a bit of a Italian air show. Um
Yeah, don't gloss
and
over that. Let's have it.
yeah, so let's kick that off. Okay, so
You tease an Italian air show. Let's
I
deliver.
am. I am. And I did. So I wrote it in to ICS. I sent in a letter. So whenever they read it, I had course and informed in the letter said if you want the full details and all the extra stuff to listen to this podcast, so which means I probably should really go into full detail on this podcast. Suppose, yeah, Italian Air Show. Da, 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 that's it. No. So it starts in Barcelona, and well, actually, this really starts in California. As we're leaving mom's house, we packed up. We sold a lot of stuff. We sold a majority of our stuff, and but we still brought a lot of stuff with us. Packed a bunch of stuff with us. And for the most part, it's been vehicle travel, so it's kind of worked out here and there, and it's acknowledged once we got really when we got on the boat and we got the bags in the room, like there's we got too much stuff. We got to get rid of some of the stuff. So when we hit Barcelona, the first thing we did in Barcelona, the first day we got to Barcelona, we dropped our bags off in when we took 2 bags of clothes and donated them. Like had the hotel uh asked the hotel, did anybody in place in Barcelona take donation? They're like, yeah, sure. So during our stay there, we took bags and donated like a bunch of our clothes. Got rid of like almost one full bag of our clothes, and we still have too much. Um, so then, so in Barcelona, we toned down a little bit. We get a car from Barcelona to the train station in Barcelona, where we're going to take a train from Barcelona to Malaga. And the train tickets were pricier than we anticipated. So we paid a lot of money for these train tickets. And so we go to get on this train, and we get to the Barcelona train station, and it's very difficult to find luggage carts. They don't have any luggage carts. And so we're looking all over for the luggage carts, and it's taking me forever to find them. I finally find them. They have, I don't know if you're familiar with the way luggage carts used to have the old chain and coin lock, right? So there's a lock that has a key, and you had to
Yeah.
put like a coin in there to dislodge the key. And then when you put it back, you put the key in, it pops out your coin, whatever. The problem is on that lock, it had a €2 coin, a €1 coin, and a 50-cent coin. Now, I thought that meant that I needed to have each one of those coins in order to unlock this cart. No. Apparently, all I needed was one of those coins to any one of those 3 coins would unlock the cart. But I'm running around the station trying to get change to get this. I needed 2 luggage carts. I'm like, oh, da da. Finally, get the change. Get over there. Put the 1 coin in, and it dislodges. I'm oh, cool. Oh, just needed the one. I could have got these ages ago. So finally get the luggage. That takes us damn near to launch time for the train. Now, you understand Italian air show for our listeners. If you don't know what an Italian air show is, you go in there, you're expecting something beautiful, lovely to happen. You're expecting great things to happen. And then 2 planes collide in the air. That's tragic. That's horrible. What makes an Italian air show is that when the planes crashed on the ground, they spewed jet fire all over the audience. So it went from good to bad to worse. That's the basis of an Italian air show. Now, the good, we're coming to Malaga. It's a beautiful beach place. We're anticipating it's going to be gorgeous. We know it's right along the coast. We're really happy about it. We're on the train. We barely make the train. I mean, when I say barely, like they were yelling at us, throwing our bags on, get on this train.
Yeah.
We get on. We're sitting there. We're in the seats near our baggage in the back of the train. We're rolling along. Things are lovely. One of the conductors come by and says, "We need to see your tickets." They show us our tickets. We're apparently in the wrong car. Now, our baggage was in that car. We'll say car 13, right, which is the luggage car, and then we were sitting down in car 12, right next to the luggage car. But our seats apparently were for car 2, right? So we had to walk all the way through the train, not with all our bags, just with our carry-on.
Right.
And apparently our tickets were for the quiet car. So now we're in the quiet car, and then we're assigned seats, and our seats are not together.
Ooh.
Right. And so I end up sitting in a seat that is face to face with the other seats, across from somebody I don't know, who this really long-legged, I'm assuming Spanish UFC fighter, really buff dude who doesn't speak, and like his feet are all the way. And I'm a bro. I now got to sit here, like, and it's a lot of. I keep, hitting with my foot what I think is the bar for the table that's in between us, and it's not. It's his leg. So I keep apologizing. Our knees are damn near touching. But you kind of just lean in and settle in. Like, I'm on the train. We're going to Malaga. I can suffer this. I'm cool. My wife is across from me. She's across the aisle, like 2 rows back, but we can see each other. So that gave me a little peace of mind. So we can look at each other and give each other the faces and go, we can commiserate together, if you will. Then then uh we get it's a 6.5 hour train ride, right? We get to Malaga, and
That's rough, knees to knees.
yeah, yeah. And to be fair, like it was only about 4 hours knee to knee because we're in the back of the car for about an hour, and then the train stopped off at Cordoba, and a lot of the people got off in Cordoba, so we were able to move and shift. So we spent like the last 45 hour to Malaga, sitting next to each other. So we get to Malaga, and they get our luggage off, and remember our luggage is at the back of the train. We're at the front of the train, which is in the station, and we're walking from the front of the train to the back of the train, and noticing all the uh, luggage cart stands are empty, all of them. And so we're asking the conductor, where do we get luggage carts from? And he's like, let me go ask. And so my wife and them go to get luggage carts, and Malaga station doesn't have them.
Huh.
It doesn't have luggage carts. And so we have a lot of heavy bags. And so we go, well, I guess what we're doing is we're lugging these bags one by one or two by two from the back of the train all the way into the train station. And we just gotta do it. So wife grabs a bag and another bag, and I'm watching the dog, and she goes halfway, and then she comes back, and I grab 2 bags, and then I walk to the halfway spot where the other bags are, and we kind of do that bit by bit all the way to inside the train station where we now have to sit because we're both tired, and I have to figure out now the hotel I had booked. We initially had a different hotel we were staying at, but due to their clerical error, that reservation got canceled, and we had to find new lodging pretty quickly, and we did. We found it
On the fly.
pretty much on the fly. Right before we got there, we were able to find a lodging at a place called Hostel La Hispanidad.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah. I saw a picture of that on. You posted that on the social somewhere.
yeah, and it's right across the street from the train station, like literally across the street. Like you walk out the front of the train station, you can see it across the street. And I'm like, cool, we're really close, whatever, whatever. That's before I knew that the Malaga didn't have luggage carts. So we get to the train station. We get in there. I said, well, you know what? Let me go across the street to the hotel. It's a hotel, so they should have luggage carts, hopefully. And then I'll just bring a cart over here. We'll lug it across the street and do what have you. So this is the jet fuel. I get to the hotel. The reception desk is on what they call floor 1, but remember everything
It starts at floor 0.
starts at 0.
So what do people call floor 0?
0.
Like, do they call it 0, or do they call
Yes.
it terrace? They call it ground? No, it's just 0.
Floor 0. Yeah, floor 0.
Okay.
And there's no elevator. So I got to climb upstairs to get to the reception desk, which means, and they tell me they have no elevator, which means that all the rooms are on the first floor. Thank God. So I now have to get our bag. We have to get our baggage from the station across the street, up a flight of stairs, and down this maze of a hallway to our room. So we do that. It takes a while. It takes a bit because again, it's just the two of us, and we got Fox. Now, luckily, The guy at the reception desk did come down and help us get the bags up the stairs and take them to our room. That was nice of them. But we made it. We finally made it to the room. The room. You've been on a cruise ship now.
I have, yeah.
How big was your cabin?
Um, maybe 200 square feet.
So imagine a room smaller than that.
Woo.
Uh,
Now, and keep in mind, I think for whatever it's worth, the 2 cruises that I've gone on, I have been in what they call a junior suite.
right,
So if
right.
I were standing in the middle of the room, dead center, like remove the bed, and I were to outstretch both of my arms, I could not touch the walls.
No, that's good.
However, if I were to move
Lean a
to the
little bit one
right
way or the other.
to where one of my fingers is touching one wall, it would not take an entire other person and their wingspan to link with me to get to the other wall.
Now
So,
that's about the size of the hotel room that we had. That was way too expensive for what we got. It had 2 twin beds, separated, kind of very much I Love Lucy style. And they couldn't be pushed together because there was a little stand in between them that was mounted to the wall. So I couldn't move the stand out and push the beds together. There's hardly enough room for the 3 of us and our bags, but we fit in there. It was tiny. The air conditioner only had a timer. So you press a button on the wall. You had to press it twice to turn the air conditioner on. And then the air conditioner only came on for 10 minutes. And then after 10 minutes, the room would heat up again. Like it was temporary and it
only
would get
10
hot.
minutes?
10 minutes. It was a 10-minute timer on the air conditioner.
That is the worst.
Yeah, it was rough. And yeah, that's how we spent those 2 nights in the city center of Malaga. And then wife got on her game, and this is why I like when she books the rooms opposed to when I book the rooms, because we are now in a beautiful Airbnb right off the coast. Like I said, I can see the water from our room, and it's nice.
And I see you got that nice ductless HVAC system right behind you there.
Which is the same kind of system that they had at the hotel room, but this one will stay on. This
Yeah.
one, yeah.
Because I've got these in my office and in some sections of the new house. And those things, when you have full control over them, you turn them on, you can get pretty toasty or pretty cold
right,
real quick.
right. And so it's a nice room temperature. However, if it's off, it does it can get a little toasty in here, but that's okay. So we just keep it on and we can. And it's the kind of room where you have to have has a key on the wall that has to be in to power it, so you don't accidentally leave it on when you leave.
Oh, I
So when
got
you
you.
take the
Yeah.
key to go out, it turns it off, and so that's pretty cool. Except we're 2 people, right? And there's only 1 key. So if one of us is leaving, that means one of us really has to stay here, because we don't have a second key to get in and out of the door. There's only 1 gate key to get in and out of the property. But it's still really, really nice.
Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So sounds like it worked out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess it could have been worse because, and maybe it's just me always wanting to look at the silver lining of these things, but it sounds like you now are someplace better than you would have been overall had it not been for
Yeah, well, I mean,
all the
that's
shit
kind
going
of
on.
oddly enough, that's kind of how it tends to happen with us. We just one second. Hey, babe, is the key in the
Yes.
thing?
Yes.
Okay. The air it's hot in here, and I'm trying to figure out why it's hot in here in the air conditioner. You're hearing real time travel shit right now.
Oh, yeah.
Real time
Real-time
travel
shit.
But
Woo!
yeah. So things are good. And like I said, it's funny because as I mentioned before, we're looking to probably stay in Malaga for quite a bit because one, the prices are really good here. It's a lovely place. Travel in between countries is a little bit difficult, so we may not even make it into Portugal um, this go around. We may just bounce around Spain for a while, but oh no, we're in Spain. you know, the south of Spain is really lovely, and we have friends here already. So like people we met on the
So
cruise
so tell me
actually live here.
about your visibility on the beach because I'm just now pulling this up on the map. You are across from there's like a sea, and then Africa's on the other side of that, like
Yes,
Morocco.
we're really close to the Sea of Gibraltar right now. And I think if we go out to the beach on a clear day, I can almost make out the Moroccan mountain coastline
Oh, nice.
way out in the distance. When we were on the cruise, actually, we were passing through the Straits of Gibraltar. And I may have mentioned this in the last podcast. It was really cool because you could see Europe on one side. So apparently we're looking at Malaga on one side and Morocco on the other. It was really, really awesome. But that's exactly where we are. Yeah, love it. So yeah, that was the Italian air show that was our venture into Malaga. But now we're here and we're good and we're situated and it's lovely.
But see, look, the life hack and the travel hack that is the moral of this story. I think from knowing you guys, you maintain positivity through this whole thing, and that's how it ends up in a better spot than it could
Right,
have had there been some sort of meltdown. So stay positive out there. It's kind of like what would have been my Italian air show when I talked about my bonus days in Vegas. Well, it
right,
turns out that instead of jet fuel spewing out, it was just a plane full of cash that
right,
spewed out.
right.
So,
You had whatever, not the opposite of Italian show because Italian air show it was still you had the cool event, you had the plane crash, but instead of jet fuel,
but I got the insurance
the
payout on it.
yeah, exactly. You're the insurance company of an Italian air show. That's
Yeah,
exactly how
there we
that
go.
worked
There
out.
we go.
Yeah.
That's
But so
awesome. That's
speaking of your extra extended stay in Vegas, tell us about your Vegas trip, sir.
yeah.
We didn't get
So
into it as much as we wanted to last episode, so let's
let's see.
dive
We
in.
got through what day one?
Pretty
I think we
much,
got
yeah,
through day one because that
and kind
was
of a light overview of
me
the
going there, Mad Apple, all that jazz. Um, and let's see. So that was the first day. The second day was I don't even remember what I did during the day. The second day because the structure of these classes at the House of Mystery generally, and there are once a year there's a 7 day master class, which is what this was for. But then there are also ones that are very like focused in. Like I went in November for one that was for mentalism. That was only 4 days. They do one for card magic, for all sorts of different, specialties. So
right,
I wouldn't necessarily go to everything, but obviously the stuff that jives with me, I go for. And the master class is a more broad overview. And they generally will begin the evening of the first night. And it's not a whole lot of teaching. It's more kind of intro. It's there for people to start to mix and mingle and get to know each other. It's
right.
several hours. There's
It's a magician
overview of
love fest.
what's going on, what to expect in the week. We go through doing kind of some long and short term goals that we share because a lot of what they do and what I love about these courses out there is that they have a structure to where they're going to go for the week, but at the end of the day, I don't want to say they improv this, but they are starting off getting an idea of what each individual student, there's only 15 of us, is looking to get out of this, questions that they have, and they will
Oh wow!
tailor.
You said only 15. Yeah, that is a very intimate love fest. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is.
But they tailor certain elements of the rest of the week to make sure that everybody's needs are met, which is great. Um, so the first evening is a little bit more laid back, a little less teachy, and again, it's more of kind of a
Meet and greet.
overview and an open house.
Right.
So that's when I. So a lot of people probably know about these tarot cards that Brogan and I made, and
Yeah, we saw them
for,
on. If you haven't checked them out, go to the social media. Go to Judgmentalist social media page. He posted a cool picture of them, or at least
so
for
the
you kind
yeah
of
the
see them and mention
backstory,
them.
the genesis of these actually come from Piff and Matt Donnelly on Piff's podcast, probably over a year ago now,
I'm familiar with those
and
names. I know them.
they were in one
Heard of them.
such episode, and I don't even know if I heard this episode, but because Piff's podcast is not super consistent, and therefore my listing of it matches consistency.
Although to be
Uh,
fair, to be fair, you if you decided to listen to it, you could catch up pretty quickly. There's not that many
oh yeah, for
episodes.
sure. Um, so
You could do it
I
on a single train ride from Barcelona to Malaga.
you know this from experience.
I'm just saying.
Um, so apparently they were having a conversation, and Piff, Matt, Jade were talking about tarot, and I don't know. Again, I don't know if I even listened to this episode. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. So I don't know exactly how it was brought up, but they it dovetailed into the if we were to be depicted on tarot cards, which cards would we match up with? And as many of the podcasts that exist within this family of podcasts, if you will, of which Penn is the Nick Cannon. Um,
Right.
the
Granddaddy
the
Penn.
granddaddy of them all, right? Exactly. Um, the the art army got to work. Specifically, Brogan sketched up, I believe, Matt, Piff, Jade, and Mr. Piffles as initial kind of mock-ups of what they would be.
Right.
And I don't know. I'm blanking on the timeline because the relationships have developed so much since then. Um, Literally to the point where Brogan went from this person I would hear about in scoop mails to thick as thieves over the course
Right.
of maybe 6 months. I mean, literally that one trip to Vegas that included my bonus days was entirely because Brogan and Wayne were coming to town.
Right.
And, conned my wife into being like, look, they're from two different parts on the other side of the world. They're going to be all in the same place. I don't know when it's going to happen again. I do, but they just haven't announced Scoop Fest 2024 yet. But that's when
Right.
it's going to happen again. So I definitely know, but I don't know what my schedule is going to be like. I don't know. I had conflicts for Scoop Fest 22 that kept me mostly out of that room. But somehow I connect with Brogan on social media. And again, I don't remember whether just these four were done or maybe a smattering more or what the
Right.
deal was. But I was like, hey, what's your intention with these? I think it would be really cool if you did the whole
The
lot
whole
of them,
deck.
the whole deck.
Are you
And
responsible for planting that horrible seed in an artist's brain where she now feels the need to complete a project that she just kind of wanted to touch on, and finally she went, "Oh God, now I got to do the whole damn thing."
are you asking me if I do this weekly with different projects, or are we just talking about these tarot cards? Because the answer to both questions,
Is
yes.
yes.
Because I may not necessarily have stick figure drawing art ability. I'm just going to go right there. But I am an idea guy. Up in my head, a lot of times things exist, sometimes completely empty. You never know
Right,
what you're going to get. But some of these ideas are quite good. So it is not uncommon for me to just float an idea out there to somebody like Brogan and be like, hey, what do you think about this?
right.
Um, yeah. So I basically was like, let's collaborate on this. Let's keep it kind of a secret. Um, and we'll powwow some other ideas. You do the art. I will pay the money to have these produced. very limited run. We only made 10 of the original decks. And then, of course, more ideas start to spring up.
Those are going to go
So,
for so much money eventually.
yeah, well, considering where we're going to end up in this story, there are very few of these that exist. And so there was one element to it where I was like, the one thing I ask is I need X, and X describes something for an effect that I'm doing with a deck of tarot cards in one of my stage shows. And I said, I want to be able to do it with these. That way, it's something that's completely mine. At the time, we thought these are super unique and super fun. This would be a great thing to try to send in and get on Fool Us more and more as it evolves. I don't think this is an effect for TV, so I haven't even tried. Not with that is. So this
Is
whole
this a
thing,
trick you could do on Fool Us?
I mean,
I'm not talking about to actually fool them, but is it a trick that could be done on a format like Fool Us?
It could, but again, it ends up coming across as just another card trick. I don't know that it's great for TV. Let's put it that way.
However, if you're highlighting a specific deck of tarot cards
Right.
that also incorporate perhaps maybe even the hosts of said show,
Yeah.
then it's not about it's really it becomes about promotion.
You're telling me that I should cut the video of me doing this out of one of my recent performances and just send it anyway because maybe they'll just want it.
Possibly.
Okay, this is going on the to-do list. Because here's the thing. Submitting to Fool Us, it's not like if you send them, from my understanding, it's not like if you send them something that they don't like, you're now on some list. I could
Nope.
send them 15 different things,
Send them
and
a
they could
bunch of different.
potentially
We
look at all
definitely
of them.
want to
So,
definitely get a clip of this one, especially highlighting the tarot deck.
right. Well,
Yeah.
I believe that I probably have a solid version of that from Matt's show in February at Elkton Magic. So, and that was with this deck of cards because I used to do this. This is the effect. I don't know if I've shared this with you, but it's a connection test, a love test between two individuals, and I bring them up and I use the tarot. And I did this one of the first times that I did this at a public show was not using these cards because they didn't exist yet. But we're totally not getting to the end of this story today,
We
but that's
will.
okay.
We will.
Um,
We'll hope. I mean, it's maybe a little extra long episode. That's okay.
yeah, I'm just
Our
looking at the
listeners
clock.
will ride with us. It'll be all right.
So listen. Last time when I said this is going to be a 2 to 3 episode thing, maybe like 4 to 5. I don't know. We'll get there. We got a lot going on, and you
Yeah,
guys
a
have
lot
signed up
going
and you're
on.
along for the ride, and we thank you for that. But
Welcome.
so this is the one where I started off. I don't know if I've sent you this video or not, but and it's really grainy and bad. It was not high quality video, but I had two people that at least claimed to be on a first date that I brought up on stage and did this thing, and at the culmination of it, they started making out, and I have it on video, so I'm
Oh,
happy
yeah.
about that. That was
Yeah.
an achievement. So,
That's
so
my
yeah,
kind of magic show.
Brogan and I collab on this thing. We get 10 decks printed. They're nice little velvet bags that have Brogan's 7 Billion Needles logo on. They just look tremendous. I love them. So obviously in the interim and when they show up and all these are great, we're like, oh, here are some other ideas. Let's do this card. Let's do this person. I wanted one of me. So we did one in the second round. We did a couple of the ones with the three guys from ICS on that are on a Joker card. We did two alternate versions of Mac King. The very first original deck of cards that has Mac King has him in his plaid suit with a goldfish tail hanging out of his mouth.
Right.
Which, if you've seen the show, totally makes sense.
Right.
My daughter is looking at these cards. She's 15, and she's seen Mac's show 2 times, 3 times. She's seen Mac's show a couple times.
Okay.
And enough to the point where one time we went and the bear wasn't in the show, and she's like, "Where's the bear?"
Oh wow.
She literally comes into the theater, sits down, and starts scanning the room for kids that are at about the approximate age for that effect. And she's like, almost like she's going to be gambling and doing a pool of, I think it's that one. I think it's going to be that one or whatever. Um, she's like, you need to do a version of Mac King where he's in the cloak of invisibility. So we've got one where he's in the cloak of invisibility, and then there's a second alternate Mac King where it's just the cloak of invisibility. There's no face in it. And if you've seen this show, it totally makes sense. It is fucking hilarious.
And if it
I took
hasn't, go see the show. Matt King is amazing.
Yes, this is a mid afternoon. It is the dirtiest family friendly show in Las Vegas. Worth it, every penny of it. He's fantastic.
Right.
And at that point I was like, okay, and we're just coming up with because there's minimum quantities, and there's also quantities that printing in a little bit of volume makes it a little bit more reasonable price wise, because otherwise you're paying like $60 with shipping to have 70 cards printed. So we're looking for hunks, we're looking for quantity. We do another version of Matt's card, which on the front is the same, but it allows him to do the effect that I was doing on this, because these are still a secret at this time from everybody except for Brogan and I, because we wanted to gift them to Matt, which I did at the February show.
Right.
I decided that we would do cards for Jeff McBride and Larry Haas and Jeff's wife, kind of as a thank you / gift, for being mentors and really helping me improve my performance and everything like that. So I've got those, and
Right.
I run into Larry, who's the dean of the School of Mystery, at an event in Baltimore some months ago, and I gave him his tarot card. And now it was time for me to give them to Jeff and his wife Abigail.
Mm-hmm.
So I did so on that Monday evening, and they almost lost their shit. Like,
Yeah, I bet.
and we're going through, and this is one of the pictures that is depicted on social media. Is I'm going through showing everybody that's kind of huddled around here and telling them the story that I just told here about how these came to be. And
Right.
I'm weird about this kind of stuff, because a lot of people love to just kind of like elbow their way to the front of a pack and be like, look at this thing that I did. Like, I didn't do anything. I had some ideas in this. I paid for them to be produced, but this is all
That's
Brogan.
what you did. That's what you did. You had an idea and you paid for it.
And, which I guess to some extent is how the world works, but
That
it's
makes you a
difficult for me.
producer. That
Right. It's
makes you a
difficult for
producer.
me. I'm a collaborator in this, and that much I will take credit for. But this is Brogan's art, and a few ideas of mine and my daughter's, and specific requests. But I don't want to take the limelight like that when, again, the real heavy lifting was Brogan's here.
That's why you take the look. Here's the deal though. You understand? You're in the limelight.
It's true.
Brogan is not putting themselves in the limelight. They're just not going to do it. Right. So you are in the limelight. So what you do is you get yourself in the limelight, in the spotlight, and you share that light with Brogan. You highlight
Fair.
Brogan. Right.
Which I think I did a good job of.
Right.
So I think nothing of all of this. They're taking pictures. It's great. Whatever. He posts them on social media. I'm like, that's cool. Obviously there's just a line of comments of people wanting to know where these are for sale. And I don't even respond to any of this, because this is an isolated project. There are 10 of these. I already shipped 2 or 3 to Brogan. I have a couple myself. I've given some to Matt. I don't know if Matt gave a deck to Piff or not. I don't even remember if I asked him to. Because everything just goes so fast when we're in these moments.
Right.
And there are, at the time, 3 of these decks that are unopened sitting at home. And I'm talking about the original decks, not the add-on cards.
Right.
There was one, I had a special add-on card made of the lovers for a colleague of mine and his wife as a surprise at an anniversary party that I was booked for. So that was
Is
cool.
this a magic colleague or a lawyer colleague?
Just no, actually an HVAC guy, just a
Oh,
business connection that
oh,
we
gosh.
refer
Okay.
each other business and talk a lot about marketing ideas and shit like that. But so that's it. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's great to get these out there, have other people see them, appreciate them. But again, there is zero commerce in my mind on this. There's still zero commerce in my mind on this to this date. Um,
I'll apparently be the commerce in your mind for you. I will.
there, there,
I'm already hearing limited edition sets. I'm hearing.
well, I will say that Brogan is thinking along those same lines because there's also a neon version of the cards now. In fact, you will see if you want, and if you haven't seen this yet, but I posted it in the Scoop group. There is a mock-up of T-shirts for Matt and my mini tour at the end of July that are in that neon-ish sort of design. So if you are planning on going to one of those tour dates, let us know because we're going to be ordering a very limited run of those T-shirts,
We should
and
definitely put some of
especially
that stuff up in our merch store.
yeah, especially
Those
yeah, and they'll
images.
exist there, but nobody makes any money when it is sold through T Public, except for T Public. Um, I mean, I think that when you buy something during one of the sales, we make like $1 or two. So it's to me like with the Elkton Magic stuff that I have set up on T Public, that's more about hopefully people will buy this stuff and wear this and then have conversations and get more people in the door. I'm not making money off of T-shirts at Elkton Magic, but again, it promotes it. Like we set up our shop where
Yeah.
is
Where is Big
bigsexy.com.
Sexy? And that is
WEAR,
WEAR.
like
Where?
clothing, which is
Like
what you can go
where
buy there.
is Big
So go buy
Sexy?
some swag there. So the next morning, which is the Tuesday, first full day of classes at the House of Mystery, I walk in. I'm picking up whatever I need to pick up for the day, and Jeff grabs me and pulls me aside, and he's like, "Come over here." And he starts scrolling through his phone and his text messages, and he shows me this text conversation between him and this guy in Vegas named David. You may have heard of him. He's got a show there. He does like 12 shows a week at the
Oh, Vegas
MGM Arena.
David. That David.
Vegas,
Yeah. I
Vegas
know
Dave,
David.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. Me and David. Vegas
Um,
Dave. Yeah, we're close.
not the shit gambler like hacked Vegas Dave. That's
No,
a
no,
guy.
no. No, not Super
Um,
Dave.
yeah, but Copperfield, David
Yeah, yeah.
Copperfield. Um, and he's like, I want them.
David Silverlawn.
And David is a collector of all things magic, basically.
Right.
Um, so it makes sense to me that he would want these. He's got a museum, and I'm like, shit. Now what do I do? There are only 10
Sell
of these.
them for like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
No, that's not who I am in this world. Not in the
Okay.
magic world.
Fair. Fair. Sell them for tens of thousands of dollars.
Look, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it all. But no, I'm happy to give within this community, especially to a legend. Um, so ultimately, that springs me getting on the phone
See,
with my with.
this is how I know you got money. Right. This is how I can feel the difference because my brain is going, no, I need to get paid. No, we need to make money on this. I want to kick Brogan back a bunch of money for taking the time out to doing this deck. There is somebody who has a lot of money who wants this particular item that there aren't a bunch of that they can't get anywhere else. It has, I hear, monetary value in that. Other than, I mean, exposure is great. You know, the concept of is great. And sure, it's a great story, but there's value and there's monetary value in the item that is desired. That is supply and demand, pure
I understand
economics.
that, but to me, and I think that this is potentially taking some assumptions at the time to Brogan, and Brogan's potential desires, goals, et cetera, et cetera. It was more important for me, and I think to Brogan as well, in follow up conversations, to guarantee that these end up in the hands of a legend and potentially end up in that museum.
Now,
Because,
knowing you and knowing Brogan, that is 100% accurate. I'm absolutely positive, and
yes,
that is where that conversation ends. That is into the hands
yeah.
of a legend, and hopefully into that museum, or just into the hands of a legend on his personal mantle display. Like that's
Well,
big,
two of those remaining three decks he owns,
right?
and that was by design. Hopefully, he's got one for himself, and then one goes into the museum.
Right.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Only time will tell. If anybody's listening ends up going into
Or
that
hopefully
museum,
somebody else who knows will tell. Hopefully you don't have to wait for time because time is a silent bitch. But hopefully somebody else who's close to them will say, "Hey, by the way, this is what happened to those decks you gave him. One's here and one's here." You should probably ask
yeah.
Jeff about it.
Well, I will be back out. I'm trying to think of when I'll be back out for stuff. Well, I'll be back out at Magic Live, which is
That's
in
coming up.
August.
That's coming up soon. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be back out there before, but I just got the schedule for
All right, but
the
you won't have time to breathe.
hypnosis courses. Yeah, there's no time to breathe in the hypnosis course. I probably won't even. It'll be a trip to Vegas where I'm there for 5 days or something, and I probably don't even drink a drop of alcohol because of how packed in that schedule is and for what it
Challenge.
is. So,
Good luck with that.
what's that?
I said good luck with that.
Well, we'll see what happens. But no, because it's the hypnosis class is like class all day, like 9 or 10 till 5 or 6, and
Mm-hmm.
then you break for dinner, and then he's got a stage show at 9 o'clock that we're going to participate in because there's only 4 people in this class.
Right.
So it's not like I can go tie one on in the dinner break because
Nope.
then you got to show up to perform. This is at least with the McBride weeks, I could go party at night some of the nights, not all
Right.
of them, but some of the nights.
Right.
Um,
We'll see. I mean, we'll definitely tell that story when we have that
oh,
story to
for
tell.
sure, yeah, and that's coming up. That's the second week of June. Um, I do need to give a shout out here to RJ. Uncle RJ was in Elton this past weekend, and it
Oh,
was
that's a turn.
fantastic.
Oh wait, what happened to RJ in the tarot? Is RJ featured? How many? Okay,
RJ,
let's back up. How many people are featured in the tarot deck?
so the original, the first run tarot deck has 23 people. Well, 23 acts. I'll say
Okay,
that depicted because Siegfried and Roy are one card. Penn and
got you,
Teller are one card. So
got you,
people is the wrong word.
got you.
There are 22 of the major arcana and 23 depictions because we did the hangman two different versions because one of them has a guy on who if he caught wind of it would probably send us a cease and desist. um,
It's
he
funny. You didn't have to
he
say his name. We already know who it
exactly.
is.
He's got a question and it's not about these tarot cards, I hope.
Yeah.
So the original design had that individual on and I'm like, Brogan, I don't know if we could do that. If you have a set of these in your hand or you look through the imagery, you will see that like the one for Piff the Magic Dragon says Piff the Magic Dragon on it. The one for Jeff McBride says Jeff McBride. The one for Judgmentalist says Judgmentalist. The one for Matt Donnelly, the Mind Noodler, says Matt Donnelly, the Mind Noodler. One version of the Hanged Man just has C period A period. Why? Because somebody has a trademark on their stage name. So
Right.
even though these are not for commercial distribution, they're not for sale. You can't find them. They don't exist because
Unless you
Brogan's
know
not going to sell any of theirs. I'm not selling any
IYKYK.
of mine. Matt, I'm sure, is doing quite fine enough that probably one of the two decks that I gave him, he's probably already given to Piff. these aren't going to end up on eBay because nobody who has them would get
Wants to
rid
get
of
rid of
them.
it, right?
So, you know,
Unless David Copperfield shows selling tanks and he suddenly finds in bankruptcy, then you might see one of those next.
for a
But
man who's got a
I have
private jet and island,
a feeling he's doing all right. He's going to be doing all right. I don't see him going down that road.
yeah, I think he's all set there. Um, so anyway, RJ, 10 out of 10. In fact, not only was it such a great time, he's such a skilled performer,
He's amazing.
hilarious, entertaining. Um,
I sometimes
I'm
forget how good of a magician he is
oh yeah,
because of
because what
how
he does
silly
day
he
to day
is and
is
how funny he is, and
yeah,
because he's the big baby and the steer, and because he has a podcast where he cooks and he like I forget that. Oh yeah, he's also an amazing magician.
yeah. He's a multi-talented individual for
He
sure.
really is. He really is,
Um, so
and a
he
handsome
must have.
devil to boot.
We have great audiences here in Elkton, and I'm only saying this because of the feedback that I get from the performers. Literally to the point where, as I'm driving him to the airport, he's like, "So, I have these days dark in September from Mystère. You want to do something else?" So that kind of percolated a little bit to the point where I'm like, how much do you want to do? Because if you really want to, I can start putting some pins in the map and we could do a week long run at different places, just the way that Matt and I are doing it in July, which is perfect because there was a show in Nebraska that I had lined up for Matt and I to book that was in the middle of some towns. They were having some sort of like festivities or what have you, and they we were going to book Matt there, but some things with. I'm going to be careful with saying this because nothing has been announced
Right.
officially.
Careful, yeah.
A conflict was created involving a project that Matt is a part of,
Got it.
and that was going to negate this day. So it runs to the very end of the dark days that RJ has. So I immediately reached out to them and I was like, "Hey, I know that things didn't work out with Matt on this date, and we had talked about that they want to book Matt there. Just we'll have to find times, and I needed to find out when the other thing really had its run of days. And I think this is going to be announced within the next couple of days, but probably not before this airs. So I won't be specific. But I mean, you can kind of look and extrapolate from some of the projects that Matt was part of that are likely expanding because a 3-day run went well,
Right.
and figure it out from there. If I haven't given you enough hints, then you are literally sitting there watching things like fool us, completely passive and not picking up on any of the codes that they're putting down. Good on you.
Right.
So I reached out to them and I said, "Hey, this opportunity is here." And they're like, "Yes, let's do it." So this tour, I have a meeting this afternoon there's a music hall, a new music hall that's opening in Elkton. And the guys asked me a couple of times, "Hey, can we book some magic here? Can we book some magic here?" And I'm like, "Okay, I've got the opportunity. We've got a date. He doesn't have anything booked. We're meeting today to solidify this." So, and then I started kind of putting feelers out there. There's a date in Kentucky that may happen. So we may actually start in Kentucky,
Oh wow.
travel east, do the show in Elkton, which may or may not also include the Mind Noodler. And then we're going to go and venture out west. And we're going to do basically what I'm currently looking for. And if you hear this and you've got a venue that is in that west path from Maryland to Nebraska, so this could be somewhere in
The
Ohio, this
Northwest. Right.
yeah, this could be somewhere in Chicago area. This could be somewhere. Somebody already sent me a lead for 2 different venues in Des Moines, Iowa. What I'm looking to potentially do, because I think that we're going to rent an RV and just road trip this bad boy,
Nice.
is I want to be able to have us do a gig, crash, wake up in the morning, drive no more than 5 or 6 hours to the next city, and be prepped to do a gig. Rinse, repeat, and just daisy chain it across the country 5, 6 hours at a time.
What would you name this tour?
It very well may be. We may just pick up the little promo thing that we used last minute for the Elkton show of the Mischief Manhattans and Magic. So it could very well be that.
Okay.
Um, who knows? We'll see.
All right.
I've got to put the dates together. The cool thing is that I've learned a lot about organizations like the Moose Lodge, having done a show there, and
Right.
the ability for me, like I want people who want us to suggest locations for us,
Right.
but I have connections now through the Moose Lodge to fill in gaps if I need to. Plus, we can park the RV there and plug it in at no charge because I'm a member. Um,
Nice. That'll be
so
amazing.
that's cool stuff. Like I said, some people have already reached out because I posted something on social media being like, hey, see this map? Not just the line that's drawn on it, but anything that's in what I cut out. If there's a venue that I mean, we're looking for anywhere between 50 to probably 200 at the most, um, to fill a room. We're also interested in smaller venues on dates where maybe we can stack two shows, do like a 6 o'clock and a 8:30 show or something like that. We're not looking to get rich off of this tour, but we do have expenses that come along with the travel.
Right.
So obviously there's going to be some cost to it. We can do door splits. We can be creative with it. Um, Whatever, but hit me up on the socials or hit up RJ, and I'm sure that he'll connect you with me. And I
That'll
only
be
mention
awesome.
this because he went live on Instagram Tuesday morning and was mentioning it, so I know that he doesn't care that I talk about it.
I'm sure.
Um, Normally, I like to keep this stuff kind of under wraps until it's solidified, and I can be like, "Here's the list of dates. We're doing this tour in September."
Right. Speaking
Um,
of which, we should consider doing a live something or other, uh, uh, a live recording. I don't know. Do a live feed, the two of us, with me digital nomading someplace. Like if I'm going to go to see something major or what have you, we may want to consider doing that alive. Oh wait, you got to play the production tune again.
oh yeah.
Production meeting.
Yeah.
I don't know why that cracks me up.
Hey,
It's so loud.
we
It
have
is
other
so loud
musics
in
and
my
other drops,
headphones.
but I will tell you, you guys need to send us some of those wrong answers only submissions. There is a just
Yes.
ripe, juicy intro that Froyo did for us for wrong answers only, but you need to send us a list of questions.
Send us a
3
list of
is fine.
questions, please.
Yeah,
Okay,
either
so I guess well that's amazing. So before we wrap up, any other tidbits about Vegas, or is there still more about Vegas that we
oh,
need to discuss and
we got
talk
to
about?
day 2,
Okay, and how
3.
many
We got
days
to
were you
day
there?
3.
Day three. And how many days
So
were you there?
8.
Okay, so we got some more to discuss
Yeah,
in
we got
Vegas.
some more shit.
The cool
There was a
thing
hot
is
thing.
he's still talking about Vegas, and I am in Malaga. Like, so I still have some present day stuff to chat about as well.
Listen, we're doing one podcast a week, Big Sexy. By the time I get to the end of the last Vegas story, I'll be back in Vegas.
Well, right, all right, but we're also this is a queue up. We have some interviews coming up shortly
Yes, yes.
of people that I spoke with on the cruise ship. I'm really excited about it. The first one I can tease is going to be a double header. Um, not for any other reason other than they were my first two interviews, and it was before I had the interview kind of process figured out. So they're kind of short,
Okay.
but it works out because they're best friends, and so you're going to hear from them. Maybe next episode after this one, or maybe the one after. We're not sure. We'll have to figure that out. But stay tuned for that, and those are going to be coming really soon. I talked to some really cool and interesting people on the boat. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but
we're always doing stuff, and
and
when
if
we're
you, I guess we still got to tell you about the social medias if you're listening for the first time. If you're here, welcome to Big Sexy Digital Nomad. I hope you enjoy the show. If you're hearing this, welcome this late in the show. I appreciate you hanging out with us this long because you made it, a while to hear it,
absolutely.
and I'm
And look,
thankful.
drop us a line.
Yeah,
Tell us where you're from. Tell us how you found out about us.
yeah. Let us know who
Tell
you are.
tell a friend. That way we can grow this thing and continue to tell Cool,
And
fun
if you're not
stories.
sure where to tell people how to find us, you can tell them, the podcast name is Big Sexy Digital Nomad, and they can go to bigsexynomad.com, and that'll take them to our anchor site, and that'll show them where they can listen to the podcast or download the RSS feed. And then or you can find us on the social medias, Instagram and Twitter at Big Sexy Nomad.
And if you're the type of person, this is great. If you're the type of person that does not like to talk to people, but likes to listen to podcasts, maybe just go to wear, like clothing, is bigsexy.com. Get one of the cool new designs, also by Brogan. That'll help tell people about the podcast without you having to open your mouth,
Yeah,
because
I think my
I've been
favorite
that
is
person.
the Where is Big Sexy? Where in the world is Big Sexy? They would look like Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
I may have one of those
Design.
on order already.
I think that might be one of my favorites. But
Yeah, that might be showing up at my house by Friday.
well, that's amazing. All right, sir. Well, this has been fun, and we'll have to do this again soon.
Yes, sir.
Safe travels.